Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Harry Sky Ridley's video blog. I'm Harry Sky, also known as Krabby McCoffee. So, I asked a friend of mine on Instagram if I could use her story without giving away her name. She's transgendered, and she's from the Russian Federation. They've banned her from Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. So, I have sympathy for her. She is a open-minded woman who does not believe in the war with any country. Now, as we were talking, I asked her this morning, will Russia use the dreaded nukes? And she said, only after your country does it first. Then I said, well, my country won't do it first because it's a first. They're not planning a preemptive strike. I said, who started this war? She said, Russia. But I said, why did they want Ukraine? She said, for gas, oil, and grain. But now NATO's involved, and Ukraine is now part of the European Union, preliminary of the Union, so they have to defend their European nations. But I said, so who's at fault now? Who instigated it more? And she said, if it wasn't for that freeloading Zelensky, we wouldn't be in that position. But this comes from a Russian Federation citizen who's hiding under the cloak of safety. She spoke to me. She said, I'm scared, Rita. I said, so am I. I said, I've been doing these videos for so long, it's tiring me. All I'm doing, she said, her opinion, all of the northern hemisphere will be wiped out. People in the southern hemisphere will have to rebuild this world. Maybe. It's scary. I said, the worst you can worry about is the wind. And she said, why? And I said, because. It's because of the radiation. Think about it. She doesn't like war. I don't like war. But, for the sake of the argument, half gallon of milk. Looks like I'm going to have to drink water tonight. Oh well, that should make Zoe happy. Let me tell you guys a story. Mama Pee-wee was happy I got my shirt today. Because she gave it to me. That's what I do. I drink coffee, I hate people, and I know things. Well, let me put it to you this way. Mama Pee-wee thinks Russia will get so desperate they'll use a tactical nuke. She didn't say tactical nuke, but nuke on the battlefield. She also said, which is something I want to share with you all, is my moderator, nuclear attack of Ukraine. Look what Biden did. I said he would put us in a war. He hasn't put us in a war. He's just funding a war. So putting us in a war and funding a war is two different stories. And raise prices. Well, food prices are going up and they can't get it down on everything. Well, electronics went down. And he plans to attack the shit out of us too. Well, I can't confirm or deny that, because I'm not going to get my video flagged for it either. I mean, honestly, that's her opinion. Did we get into war? Not yet. We're just wasting a lot of taxpayer money on a war that we shouldn't be in. As I told my Russian friend from the Russian Federation, if the House got their heads out of their butt, just hypothetically, it's my opinion, only mine, it's not misinformation, that the House would stop paying for something and walk us backwards. As long as the president's in charge, he'll back Ukraine. Now, remember what I said in one of my videos. President Biden says that Americans support the war. My friend asked me, do you support the war? I said, hell no. My tax dollars shouldn't be going for something so useless. There's so many complications in America right now. So many complications. Think of it this way. Let me give you an example of how complicated America is at times in their system. Once a year, you gotta spend 3 or 4 hours a year on the phone just to re-up food stamps so you can keep your telephone. And if you qualify, you can keep your free internet. Yeah, it's complicated. Then you go and you claim, I'm going to use Higgins as an example, you claim that you're disabled and they approve you for SSI, but you approve for disability, and you get denied disability the first time, you reappeal it, and you give them more info, and they deny it, saying, oh, I don't see the factors. And then you get a lawyer involved, and the lawyer does something and gets denied. Then it goes to an administrative law judge. Instead of going back with 500,000 pages, they say, oh, and, then they find a way to say, well, you didn't meet the criteria. You're not disabled. And all because someone, no offense to Brother Higgins here, I'm not poking at the honey badger. But, instead of getting 900 a month, it could be 1,900 a month. So what happens? They turn around and say, oh, no. Then you got to go through another appeal, which is 3 to 5 years. And then another appeal, 5 to 10 years. By the time you get ready to approve, you're good as dead. That's the way the system is. Look at my uncle. He went in for problems one day. The hospital. They got him ready to do chemo. 4 weeks later. Or no, 2 weeks later, he died. Cancer killed him. Think about it. And Higgins is still up. You see, I'm not trying to poke fun at Higgins. I'm not. I'm trying to use it as an example. You see, Mama Pee-wee said they could attack Ukraine. But wouldn't that invoke NATO? No. Ukraine's not part of NATO, so Russia's desperate to win Ukraine, and they wipe out all of Ukraine. Then NATO shouldn't get involved because Ukraine's not part of NATO. Now, if Vladimir Putin decided hypothetically to go and use nuclear missiles or bombs on Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Poland, etc., Germany, whatever he wants to reclaim his lands, then you got a problem, because that is NATO. But if he uses nukes and his parliament has approved war with Ukraine and they're fighting against terrorism or whatever their motto is or rules are, then why should we involve ourselves? But there's a lot of YouTubers out there saying prep for war, prep for nuclear war, prep for Chinese death from China's war. China's sitting back. They're not doing anything. Fortunately, Russia knows not to screw up. You see, let me tell you what my friend said. She said, I said, do you think your country will use the dreaded nukes? I think only after yours. My country won't do it first. That went too far already. The USA already did that in Japan, so I think everything might be now. True, history does repeat itself, is what she said. I explained, we were fighting the Empire Japan and Japan's world conquest. History repeats itself on the next level. No, it will be the end for some part of the world, most likely the northern part or the northern hemisphere of the world. Eurasia and North America. And I do not support any war action too, but I see that the point of no return has been passed yet. Major cities will be dangerous, I think, in the northern hemisphere. This is coming from a transgendered woman who's a professor. A professor in Russia. Think about it. She doesn't support the war. Her people don't support the war. It's propaganda for them. Here, President Trump supposedly, allegedly, I'm not giving misinformation here, but supposedly, allegedly lied to the American people like, 50,000 times or something? And yet, President Biden supposedly, allegedly, again, no misinformation here, it was in one of the other videos I made with links, where it stated the American people support the Ukrainian people. Well, in my own YouTube life, I can clearly tell you that I don't support the war. I won't support the war. You know why I won't support the war, people? Because I'm here to tell you. I'm a prepper. I'm a soldier, and I'm a prepper. I'm what you call... I'm in the prepper's army. And that means all I want to do is get you guys prepped. We don't know what's going to happen. Now, if Congress would get off their butts and walked everything back, we wouldn't have any problems. Yeah. We would not have any problems if Congress stepped up and basically turned around and said no more. Yeah. The truth is, just like my friend H, she's scared as hell as I am. I told her I sleep 4 hours a day, mostly. I'm manning videos, watching the video feed, seeing if there's any news that I can give you guys for, but not limited to what's going on in the world. Yeah. I'm going to be up for another 5 hours, people. You know why I'm up at night? Because I'm worried. I'm also up because I like sleeping days. Yeah. Because I feel if there was ever a nuclear strike, I'd do it at nighttime. Yeah. I don't think they'd fire their nukes in daytime. But I don't know. I'm just afraid as much as you. Has the Black Swan yet? No. Will they attack Ukraine? Possibly. I said they could target Ukraine. I don't think Russia will really attack NATO yet. But since Ukraine ain't part of NATO, we shouldn't even be involved. I've said it time and time again. What is this war we're supporting? And why do we have to support a war? If it's not for democracy, it must be for something else. My friend and I are scared. I'm prepping, sleeping very little hours, and manning the videos. I'm hoping, I'm praying that God Almighty puts a cork in all three presidents, 4 if you count Zelensky, and all the leaders in NATO, corking them up, using his God powers, and saying enough's enough. Not hurting them. Giving them common sense. That's what I call corking them up. And telling them to make peace. Russia's already lost, and Ukraine, over 250,000 people. There's a lot of Ukrainians displaced from their homes. I love all of you. I'm afraid. That's the truth. I'm afraid of what you guys are going to do when a lot of you might end up dead because you didn't prep. Truth hurts. I wanted to share my friend H's story tonight because she thinks, until she realized, the U.S. won't fire nukes. Unless we were attacked first. But then it might be too late. You heard Russia. They want to revamp it to a strike first. China's like all these meetings right now with China. I mean, has anyone seen the news? You know. New update. What do we got here? Yeah. Says here, talking about trade, Putin says the cooperation in the international arena between the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China, as we reportedly said, is very important for stabilizing the international situation. Oh, really? So he's literally stating, and I quote, we need to stabilize it. Yeah. Complex international situation. See, he's trying to get China on board. China claims that they can have peace. What's China going to do? We're going to nuke you all if you don't just give up Ukraine. No offense to you guys. But, you know, that's the thing. You know, I wanted to share with you my friend, the other side of the coin, and what Mama Pee-wee said. So, think about it. My friend, who's a professor, thinks the Northern Hemisphere ain't going to be around much longer. Tildor's watching this. Please comment, Tildor. Higgins apparently didn't go to sleep, but you see, the system is pretty well crappy. Pee-wee doesn't support the war. I don't support the war. Higgins don't support the war. Tildor doesn't support the war. Chloe doesn't support the war. Dan doesn't support the war. Fanny probably doesn't support the war. So that leaves what, 7+ people on my own administrative team that doesn't support the war. Tells you what you need to know, peeps. So, with that said, think about it. Think about it, please, and keep on prepping. Buy food, water, canned meats, potassium iodide tablets. In the meantime, thanks for watching, everyone. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestions, hit the like, subscribe button. So it's fun for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs, service bunnies. Thanks for watching. Keep the comments nice, and God bless you in everything you do.